on that. So let's start a little local recording here too. Let's get that started. So same bands coming out actually from both teams so far. We haven't seen the Rammus, but besides that, Shyvana, Janna, Rise, Shen, Ari. Maybe Kuniv will ban Lee Sin himself and be like, I'll ban myself out. What you gonna do about it? What? Oh, LeBlanc. Oh, alright. Here we go. LeBlanc ban. So apparently they don't want Otter playing LeBlanc. LeBlanc, AD LeBlanc was so impressive or depressive last game that they have actually banned it.
Here's the Corki pick. This is the pick I think that it should have been last time. Otter playing Corki, super scary. They're probably going to wheel Soraka here because I think that's all AznKushi plays. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Basically, you're going to see Otter do work now. So what you saw before was Otter playing around, disconnecting, being silly. Now you're going to see him wreck face, provided he doesn't disconnect again. Because he could disconnect again, who knows? That's Otter's kind of thing. But if he stays in this whole game, you're going to see him start to wreck face. It's going to be a real true test for Tkrain. So Soraka pick, I see Soraka pick a lot. She's a very safe support character to play, and she's a great sustained support. And so it'll probably help them out actually deal with Otter's aggressive style.
And Soraka, you know, outside of, I mean, a lot of the supports, especially in the current meta, they fall in a couple categories, whether it's a sustain, whether it's a stun slash tanky bot, or a tanky stun bot. Soraka is mostly unique for the fact that she can basically be a mana back. I don't know how successful some of the current meta is with regards to running an AP bot with Soraka and just being a mana, like for example, like a Rise Soraka, using a Zig Soraka. But it's out there, and I kind of like that. I kind of like to see that changes, you know, instead of the typical AD and a sustained support, you're going to see, you know, different styles, different plays down the bottom.
So similar teams coming down now. A mix-up here, though. It looks like a Tristana pick maybe instead of a Graves pick. Might be mixing up, or it might just be a lot of trading going on with positions they're playing, although Pukah has picked Irelia again. So SwiftOne's going to get to come back. I mean, he knows Irelia very well. I mean, I don't know if he knows how to play York, but York is actually a very strong character to play against Irelia. You just see that York just raffle stomp Irelia's, but again, I feel that York's late game. I mean, he makes your team tanky, but he might not fit into this AoE team. I'm not quite sure.
York?
Yeah.
I like York. I like him a lot. He shuts down a lot of... No Lee Sin, what?
Shuts down assassins, makes your team tankier. I mean, he does. I mean, if Kuniv... So I don't know if they're mixing up roles, but I imagine Kuniv is going to play jungle again, and he actually plays... He played Rammus before he played Lee Sin. He picked up... So believe this or not... Okay, so you said he just picked up jungle. He actually just picked up Lee Sin before the tournament too, and he's that good with him. I don't even know who this guy is. He must have like freak jungle DNA. He missed his calling because he should have been playing jungle all along, but he apparently was playing Rammus before he was playing Lee Sin. So
well, that's a good choice. The problem with Lee Sin is you can't get it, or sorry, the problem with Rammus is you can't get a lot of experience playing Rammus, especially in rank play, because he's permaban. Now with the changes to Shen and a lot of new characters coming out, you're starting to see that Rammus isn't banned all the time, and that's been great for my elo. You know, I climbed out of the crappy low elo by playing a lot of Rammus lately, and also Shyvana. So, but yeah, the good news is, you know, Rammus is really great for solo queue. In team play, he's a little bit easier to deal with, because you know he's gonna gank. People are gonna have better map awareness. There's gonna be more ward coverage. Rammus ganks are, you know, you kind of expect it, so to speak. In solo queue, you can't trust your team.
Yeah, there's no voice chat. By the time I text you, he's already powerballed out of the jungle, and you were taunted.
But you know, he's still very disruptive. He's got a 3-second taunt at max rank. He's hard to kill. He's tanky. Rammus is just good. I like to go early oracles on Rammus.
So I'm interested to see what they pick for an AP mid here. As we see from the blue team, this is a very serious team. This is all AoE comp. This is like your bread and butter AoE comp. And they're going to pick Brand. So Brand's going to try to bully around through the black shields of Morgana.
So in hindsight, Tristana is actually a great pick. Typically you see Tristana or Misfortune against a heal type, you know, a sustain comp, which in this case they have a Sona, which is a sustain comp. But Tristana's great against an AoE comp because she can she's got range to kind of stay out of that the CC, but her Buster Shot can actually push like Amumu away or Morgana away. So actually, Tristana's actually a great pick against an AoE comp, which these guys are going double AP and they're going to be playing a lot of. They're probably. This is that double Woda comp that you hear a lot about.
Yeah. And I think this team, again, the purple team, we're calling the Pacific Northwest team PNW. These are all players that besides last game, they haven't played together. I don't think any of these players have played together. Tkrain and AznKushi have. They've played support and range AD. But they've played against Pukah, but they haven't actually played together. And what we saw last time is actually just they're all really talented players. So the last game worked out really, really well. You can't take them lightly. So now this game, now that the blue team has decided to pick a comp that's that's kind of this is your standard AoE comp. We just see how they fare.
Yeah, and another thing to note is a lot of times when you're watching play or you're watching people stream, you're watching a lot of solo queue play. And in this situation, you've got two teams. Most typically, on the mic, where they can talk to each other, they can coordinate, they can communicate. You don't have that in solo queue. So in this situation, you're like, oh, well, this guy's only got 250 wins, or hey, this guy's only got 300 or 400 wins, or he's only 1500 elo. Like, that doesn't matter. A lot of that gets thrown out the window because you've now introduced communication to the format, and these guys can tell them, hey, you need to back up. Hey, you can play aggressive. Hey, I'm coming in from behind. Bait this. So with that added communication, my opinion, my theory crafting is that any player that has solid mechanics game-wise, when you throw in communication, they can play just as well as they play at that level of other, those high-level players. Now, granted, there are a lot of mechanically they may not be as good, whether that's last hitting, or juking, or some map awareness. But in theory, the communication adds a whole nother level.
It makes everybody better.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's really, and that's what League of Legends is supposed to be. It's supposed to be this team game, except for, the early culture of it, because there wasn't any emphasis on the team play. There was no team ranked and stuff like that where you got a team ranking. It was all solo queue, so a lot of the emphasis was on, how good are you by yourself and not as much how good you are at teams. And a lot of the teams, the really big popular teams right now, Team Solo Mid, CLG, all those teams, the reason they're good is because they've been together for so long, because they adopted that mentality way before a lot of these other players have. And there hasn't been a lot of tools for players to get together like this and play with a bunch of other talented players. A lot of these players, like we're pointing out, were all on separate teams at Game Breakers. They actually weren't together in one team.
Right.
So and a lot of them are actually on forums for the event, on Facebook and stuff like that, going, hey, like, I'm trying to pick up a player, I'm trying to find a team, and right now this is what we're doing. We're putting them together on a team to practice to play together. And this team is very, very solid. I give a lot of teams a run for their money if they play together more often. And so right now they're going to get some good practice.
Well, I'm hoping we don't take all the top players and put them on one specific team or two specific teams. Ideally, what we want in the local area is to make sure that we're getting 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever teams.
This is this scenario, but this isn't all the top players in Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of really, really good players, and a lot of these guys have friends that they want to play with too that are very good, that they have played with a lot, that might be better than just playing a random pug team with a lot of really good players. But if you're going to go online and stuff like that, you need to start thinking about having teams of very skilled players. Because trust me, I love playing with my friends, but sometimes my friends just aren't good enough. There's levels.
I feel like everybody is like, yeah, I'm pretty good, but I got those friends that aren't.
Well, everybody has those friends. Everybody has that level 7 friend. His name's Mitch. He asks you to play games. You play games with him. But he always feats. And you only play one champion.
That guy, you got friends at school. They found out you play League of Legends. They just started. You're like, hey, can you come play with me? You're like, ooh, yeah, I can do that.
That said, I do have a Smurf account, and I love to play with anybody in the community that is lower level. I'll friend you. Mouse running away here. Looks like my Scream is actually going to go for an early jungle gank right there. Boots 5,000. Run up there the mad speed, so Dystopius is going to represent himself solid this time. No more AP Malphite messing around. They know this is serious business.
Now, I've actually not seen the SwiftOne play Vlad that much. I've seen him play Bruisers. I know he plays Vlad. I mean, or I know he's had experience playing Vlad, but I don't know. I can't recall just either going up against him in lane or in a game in which he has played Vlad.
I think this just for him is, I think maybe he recognized after playing Irelia a lot that maybe he feels like he can gain an advantage by playing Vlad against Irelia. And he fits into the AoE comp, so it might be part necessity that he can maybe he thinks he can at least come out even if he can't beat her, but then he's going to be better for the team comp by being Vlad and having the AoE ability.
I completely agree.
And Otter doing massive barrel rolls in the tri-brush like a boss. Kebam being fashionably late as usual. Purple team doesn't want to go for evade, so last time they were super gung-ho, cocky, but I guess since they don't have Lee Sin, they don't feel like an invade is really necessary. They just want to get that blue for Rammus and start his jungle off really well.
And I'm going to go ahead and call, alright, Kuniv, I think the armor 5 pots is like so last year. I think you win to rock the regrowth pennant. Now, you know what? You may prove me wrong in this game, and maybe we'll have a talk afterwards. But I'm going to tell you right now, the armor 5 pots Rammus is old.
Well, it's very safe. It's not optimal, and so that's the regrowth pennant. Like what you're talking about. So like, when you say regrowth pennant, like what is that build typically designed to do?
You'll
so
be able
people
to rush
that are
into a
watching.
Philo Stone, which will allow you to get that early gold for 10 item. The Rammus' biggest problem is, he doesn't farm the jungle that well. He doesn't clear it that fast. And then once you move towards that mid to late game, if you're not getting those ganks, you're going to need that extra gold to ramp up into your items. Building an early Philo Stone on Rammus and maybe a Heart of Gold, and then taking that Philo and turning it into a Shirelli's Reverie, those are all solid items that's going to just allow Rammus to perform better because he's naturally tanky, and give him that extra farm by giving him gold per 10 items.
So now Otter and Tkrain haven't really attacked each other yet. Just been poking at creeps, getting some last hits in there. Sona putting a little damage on the Sanctified. Again, has that heal debuff on there to help stop the sustain from Sanctified. Well, Sanctified's not going to care too much about this. He started out power core though not really good positioning right here. They take a little bit of extra damage, maybe trying to bait into Otter, but though Tkrain's going to engage, flash away, already popped to escape. Great silence onto Otter right there. Otter, Corki is one of those characters that actually, loves a Soraka, so that early Soraka pick actually kind of stomps out their pick style. I think if I was them in the picks and bans, I think Soraka definitely would have been one of my first picks, knowing the other team is going to favor, playing Soraka basically as a main all the time, and that way give you a better support for your lane. But Tkrain has to be really dangerous here, tries to get in, overly aggressive Ignite going down, the Soraka heal sustaining him, is going to flash away, Valkyrie after him, last hit, there we go, that's the Otter doing work, like we said, heals coming down constantly, AznKushi is not going to be able to deal with it, but Otter finally will go down, AznKushi getting revenge for his buddy Tkrain. And good trades in action down bottom right there. That's what I like to see. Rammus was looking at a gank up top, but SwiftOne is firmly safe and planted against his turret.
I actually don't think Vlad farms that well at his turret that early. So by pushing that lane up, it's going to reset. You should be able to then get the lane more towards him, and then Rammus should be able to come back here in about, I don't want to say about a minute or so, and they should have a gank attempt on Vlad.
Yes, Dystopius right now backed off far. His lane is pushed. 19 CS to 24 CS by IM12. So Rammus thinking about a gank here. I don't know if it's going to work out. IM12 very aggressive already, although Dark Binding is down, so she's not going to have very much defense besides her Black Shield. And Otter being aggressive, getting no support here, so Tkrain, has to be very, very careful in these situations when you don't have your support because you have no sustain. And Soraka's still half a lane away from helping out Tkrain. So if they go in on this, which it looks like Sanctified is, Valkyrie might chase. No, we're not. Just going to put a ton of damage on him. So you have to get some serious heals back here. And it looks like Rammus is doing a little bit of counter jungling. Trying to find out these wolves, find out everything is gone.
Now we do have an Amumu in mid at a pretty good position here too. Brand's playing super aggressive.
And Brand's only defense is offense, so let's see what he does here. He's going to see a late flash. Oh, I don't like that flash at all. Dark Binding's going to follow us up. He is dead. Good kill there. Should have flashed over the wall. You can see he was thinking about it. Maybe it glitched out and he ended up going up, but I think he was going to try to flash at an angle, but just ended up flashing straight away, and there's no way you're going to dodge a mummy wrap, and then after the mummy wrap you just stack the CC.
Yep.
Dark Binding.
I think Bram was screwed.
Yeah. He just took the wrong path there. And Kebam's actually come back and still find those wolves are still there. Ram is probably trying to run up to support his fallen comrade before he fell. Now Vlad's really far pushed up against this turret, putting tons of damage on Pukah, but Pukah sustaining through with those health pots, eating up with that blade. There we go, counter charging from Kuniv. He's going to eat a Dark Binding. This is not looking as good for him, but he should be able to get around this if he has another Powerball in store. Brand's going to come out and help him. Flash over the wall, great flash. Kebam's out of mana now at this point, and so is Dystopius.
Yeah, I'm not super happy with that. I don't think it was worth burning your summoner for Wraith Camp.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very... I think he panicked and was like, well, I mean, his smite, it's actually on a pretty low cooldown, so it might kind of be up for the next time he needs it. But he ended up burning a flash for it, too. So, right. I mean, that is definitely not as good.
So CV going down. I think they're afraid Amumu might be coming up for a brush gank.
And Tkrain in a lot of trouble again. There's that armor shred. Gatling gun ignite going down. He will be picked up. AznKushi trying to flash after for a heal of Sunsword, but just a little bit, a couple seconds, milliseconds too slow. And Tkrain, you know, this is what Otter does. He is super, super aggressive, and this is his style. He recognized that Kuniv and IM12 are on the way. They're try to get some kills here, get some revenge, but they're not going to be able to do it. Wards both in this lower tri-bush, which are very, very important. Morgana doing a good job, probably telling Otter right away that Brand was missing. And Morgana, you know, once she gets blue, which it looks she's probably going to be fed blue here very, very shortly by Kebam. With blue, Dystopius can actually push this lane really, really hard, so if Brand tries to go away like that again, he's going to be in a lot of trouble because that lane can be pushed. He's going to miss out on a lot of CS, so he has to make it pay off if he leaves lane to go gank.
Yep, and Brand is one of those type of casters where you absolutely need blue. He's still probably going to stack Doran's rings, and he's still going to want blue buff. And now I'm looking at his items, and doesn't have any sort of sustain. So he's got to be careful about that harass and potentially an early gank, or sorry, a gank once they've donated that blue to Morgana.
Yeah, I mean, old builds, I mean, it used to be very common to go, you know, Revolver early, but Revolver's been nerfed just that little bit that, I mean, it's still viable, but I don't know if it's necessarily the best choice now anymore as it used to be. Because I actually used to, way back in the day when Brand was more popular, Revolver early was really, really good on him. But double wood is still in effect if you have that as an option, although Brand is not going to have the double wood strategy because he doesn't have 2 APs to try to farm them off of. Meanwhile, the purple team will have the double wood strat in effect, I'm sure, as this game gets deeper in there. And Vlad, of course, always going to have that Revolver. One of the main reasons Revolver was actually nerfed was because of Vlad.
Looks like it really is actually about 20, or just shy of 20 CS ahead of Vlad. And she uses that early merc strat. So at this point, Irelia is pretty much ungankable unless you see Morgana and Amumu come up.
Yeah, unless there's. But really, I think what the blue team's strategy is hey, we're going to be all about the team fight, and Irelia's going to try to dive in there and maybe take out Corki. But at the same time, the rest of her team might be blown up by the time the dust settles and she's able to actually pick up a kill anywhere. It's going to be very, very interesting to see once these teams start to actually clash in team fights for objectives, for the dragons, stuff like that. AznKushi backing out, so Tkrain's going to have to be careful again. Last time he wasn't careful enough. This is actually a bad angle for him. He might get ulted there. No, he's not. Sanctified? Yeah, Sanctified does have his ult. But yeah, if he got ulted there, he'd be in a lot of trouble. Burst damage from Corki, very, very strong. And, CV, quick CV right there.
Good job, play some wards. You know, I would also like another ward from the purple team or near the enemy race. It looks like Amumu's coming in.
Kuniv waiting there. There we go. There, ult coming down, misses the Dark Binding. Ult for Morgana though, and Brand is already almost dead. Ignite coming in. Kebam actually flashed after that to pick up the kill with his tears. Black Shield, not enough. Dark Binding trying to save himself from Pukah, but Pukah coming in, picking up a kill. Kebam running out of this, wants to be safe. So AP's trading in mid. Blue buff's being transferred. Looks like Pukah's going to get the blue buff again.
and then a Amumu guy.
Yeah.
So this is actually really good for the Pacific Northwest team. Irelia with blue buff will be really strong. She's going to get that ramped up farm. They're really going to need Irelia to get fed in this game, because when it does come down to team fight, she's got to be able to live long enough to get to that back rank and destroy Corki, or they might have to be, it could turn it, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, really, whenever I see games with Pukah, I mean, he is that kind of player where it's like he does tend to win top, and when he wins top, it's very good for his team. It just matters if the rest of his team can pull it up. I mean, looking at mid farm, 68 CS to 79, so Brand's just a little bit ahead, but bottom, there's actually a big discrepancy. Tkrain's down by almost 30 CS and some kills. So not actually looking too good for bottom, actually, right now. And if anything, for the Pacific Northwest team, that is kind of their weakness right now. They're losing bottom, so this comes to late game. Bottom's going to be, Corki's going to be a really big problem.
Yeah, and Rammus, like I said earlier, the biggest problem with Rammus is, he needs to get those ganks, otherwise he's going to be behind in farm. He does have that Philo Stone now, but had he started with a regrowth pendant, he could also have a harder goal. And he went for an early Oracle, so I do like the early Oracles. He's just got to be careful. If he loses that, he's going to be extremely far behind.
Dark Binding missing again. Dystopius. I tend to see this problem with Morganas. It's really the difference between a good Morgana and a bad Morgana, but a lot of times, it just seems like they have games. Like, it's not like just like they miss one Dark Binding in the game. It's like they miss one and then all the rest of them start missing, and like it just happens. I don't know what it is, because the last fight they had with Brand, when she flashed in and ulted, she threw it between two people somehow. Like, I didn't even think there was like enough space for it to go in between, and somehow went through. Brand trying to keep the creeps off of his turret so he doesn't get denied any gold there. And it will be interesting to see how this lane works out. Tkrain's going to keep getting shredded. Heals coming in, try to sustain him. Otter losing out on this trade here. Yeah, Tkrain coming out a little bit ahead, but Otter's a little bit more farm. And there we go. Valkyrie's away. Kuniv trying to come in, get a taunt, but misses his taunt.
Yeah, he got hit by his Sona's ult and did a little dance for that taunt to come out.
Yeah, great ult. And now Kebam is coming down. They might think of a counter gank of their own, but Brand is rotated as well. So we could see a big team fight down here.
Yeah, and the thing is, whichever team comes out ahead on this team fight is going to end up with Dragon. So it's if you don't think your team's got enough got it in them to win this fight, you don't want this fight.
Yes, and I don't know if they saw Kebam. Kebam actually ran through here with an Oracle, so they shouldn't know that he is there, I don't believe.
He might have got picked up by that war that's in the tri-bush.
This is actually blues. That's blues.
Oh, okay.
So there we go. He's going to get hit by Rammus, but Rammus isn't very tanky when he's just coming in here full board. He's going to taunt Sanctified. Sanctified does not have his ult. He's going to be focused down by Brand. Pyroclasm coming in, but now Kebam is actually onto them. Ults from Morgana. The team, Corki coming in, focusing down the opponents. Now Tkrain is left with just a Rammus to try to back him up here. He should be able to escape. Kebam just constantly applying that red buff and those stuns. Morgana coming around the backside. This is going to be really big trouble. Buster Shot coming down, not being good enough. SwiftOne actually falling top, trying to rotate, getting picked out. And now, there we go. Looks like a triple quadra kill.
A triple quadra kill? All right.
Well, triple, and then I saw that it was 4, so I went to a quadra kill. But thank you.
So
they're going to get dragged out of this.
Actually, it was almost a 4 for none had Irelia not picked up a kill on top lane. But yeah, they're going to get Dragon and 4 kills, and they got the Oracle. It was not good for the Pacific Northwest team.
So yeah, blue team looking very, very strong now. 3K lead. And definitely their team comp is working out. Now, bottom lane is winning pretty heavily. The team comp's working out, but top lane's not working out right now. SwiftOne, Pukah's just been very, very on fire both games. I think they're going to have to think about maybe getting rid of Irelia or banning Irelia in some of these games. Because right now Irelia doesn't seem like they can solve it unless they want to commit someone to a counter character, like I said earlier, like a Yorick or something of that nature.
Yeah, and she's about 40 CS ahead and 2 kills on Vlad. And so I mean that's a pretty solid lead for a top lane. The thing is, this is a team game, so Vlad just hit 10, but eventually the cooldown on his Q is going to be pretty high. And he's going to get his farm, especially if Irelia is going to have to divert to ganking mid or ganking another lane or coming, doing other objectives. But
yeah, just look at that burst. You have to instantly pull and run away just from the initial dash burst from Irelia. Irelia is so fed right now, so he either needs help to keep in farm and lane, or he needs to rotate maybe to another lane, with that, or maybe get it to the point where Irelia, like you said, does have to change lanes, and then he can free farm that way. Because right now it's not safe for him to actually be up here in this top lane. Kebam's actually going to catch Brand moving out here, wants to face check him, probably going to see a stun combo come out from him. SwiftOne closing in on this, going to land the stun on the SwiftOne. Great reaction there. Brand might flash over. He doesn't have to. He's being very, very patient, not burning it. We're going to Morgana coming around the backside. Have to be careful here. Pukah very, very scary, and Otter actually picking up another kill bottom. Look how low he is. So close, and actually getting a double kill. Otter just playing an amazing game. That's why he's considered one of the best ADs in the game, and that's why I'm saying, he's going to do work. You thought after seeing a LeBlanc, I'd probably think that it's kind of joking around, like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
But if you don't know Otter, this is Otter. He's just going to win his lane. And Tkrain is actually a very good AD player right now. He's just been playing nothing but AD, and those two play together, the support combo and the AD combo between AznKushi and Tkrain. They play all the time.
Looks like he's going with the quad Dorn's Blade strategy.
And now Pukah is going to be in a lot of trouble. Dashing, trying to get out. Kebam getting a slow. There we go. Finally get the stun. Ult coming in from Brand. Ult from Amumu. They will pick him up finally. Teamwork, layering all the CC. So an AoE team is needed to take out 3v1 to take out Pukah at this point. That's how fed he is. And Kuniv face checking a Dark Binding. That is no good. Purple team in a lot of trouble here. Brand popping all his stuff. Ignite should pick up Vlad right there. And there we go. Brand's going to fall. Otter, again, picking up more kills, getting more fed. He has Trinity Force.
These guys, I was going to say, these guys actually have an opportunity to take an early Baron.
And they're going to do it.
Bang did go for Giant Spell, but the damage is pretty high. It's going to be pretty close.
So something to point out too, if you guys don't know, that is very important. If you have an attack damage character, a melee character, or for example, Otter's AD right here, if you get hit, if you're the closest character to Baron, you actually get a damage reduction. So if you are an AD hero and you want to put out damage, do not be the closest character, because then you're basically forfeiting a ton of your attack damage to damage. And that's kind of to stop, like the Master Yi solos, Baron kind of stuff. That's really kind of why it's there. And Pukah diving headlong. He wants all of this Dystopius. Dystopius going to escape out with Pukah. You're not strong enough to take on 4 people and a turret. I'm sorry, buddy. I believe in you, but not that much. Not that much. Tkrain picking up a turret, getting some gold back for his team. That is a very, very smart move. Now they're down about 7k now. 7k is the magic number where once this gets bought up and turned into effective gold, blue team's going to be very, very strong in team fights. 1.2k and 1.1k respectively for Kebam and Otter. Oh, just getting missed by the crescendo. And now we're going to pick up the middle turret.
Things not looking good for the Pacific Northwest team. This is game 2. They did take game 1 fairly convincingly. I think in this game we saw much stronger picks from the pseudo Raise Your Weapon team. I think this has been a learning experience in some cases, in terms of each team feeling each other out.
Yeah.
And I think this is great. Like you said before, we're going to have some action here.
Dystopius getting in perfect position for a quad ult. He's going to go down just before it's going to be off, and now it's a 5v3. This is actually really, really bad for blue team. They have to try to back out this. Pukah is all over Otter, getting ready for the impending Valkyrie, but Otter's juked everybody! Everybody just get juked! Now they're going to try to chase up here, but following that fiery trail, he's going to run up in between. Actually, there is no middle turret now, so he will run up here. Flash over the top. I think he's going to get out of this. He will get out of this. Great juke there by Otter, escaping what was sure to be death. I mean, really didn't spread out there and was able to escape it. Meanwhile, the SwiftOne was taking down top turret, so there's that free farm while everybody else is focused on the lower on the map, trying to get other objectives. SwiftOne's going to pick up some farm, get a little bit more even, get farmed up here.
That's actually a solid play. I don't know if Morgana had a Zonia's. I know she's got one now. I don't know if she had one before that fight, because
I think she just completed it, actually.
Yeah, they popped her really quickly. Now, that was an excellent play, either recognizing that she didn't have the Zonia's completed, or to be able to kill her before the ult was able to finish. But either way, they had a 5v, they turned a 5v4 into a 5v3, and they were able to, end deal with Morgana, who actually had a sick ult. She had, 4 people?
Yeah, she had 4 people in there, and if that would have finished, and there was, Otter and other people would have been able to follow up, it would have been actually a lot of trouble for purple team. But but now a lot of them have bought. We do not have the double Woda now, but I don't know if it's really necessarily needed yet. So far ahead. Kuniv dodging that Dark Binding, doing a little jig there. But back off Tkrain. Not necessarily the position you want to be in, the 80 in front.
Yeah,
if Kebam would have landed that would have been dead. He would have been a dead Yordle.
You don't think they recognize that they have that one?
Yes. Looks like they don't have an Oracles.
So it looks like they're going to try and contest this. This is a bad idea. This is a 4v5.
And with Baron. 4v5 with Baron. Kuniv, not playing. So first game, Kuniv All-Star MVP. Second game, not so much. Just face-checking Dark Bindings. And you have to recognize when the team is ahead. And that is kind of like the problem, like you said. If Rammus' farm is behind and he doesn't get those ganks, he's just not tanky enough in team fights. Like you saw right there, he's get absolutely blown up. Yep. And if Rammus is farm, it's completely different. Great bandage toss by Kebam. He's going to pick this up, do his ult. Brand's going to fall because of that. Kebam just, again, student of the Amumu, master of the Amumu, if you will. Plays Amumu 24/7 pretty much, if you let him. I think if Riot actually, had one of those patches where they screwed up something on Amumu and they removed him from the game for like a short period of time, Kebam would actually cry real tears. I don't know if he's capable of crying besides that circumstance right there. So here we go, both teams playing around. Kuniv's going to finally come in there. Will we see Ignite onto Otter? We're not going to. And again, there it is, just blown up, not tanky enough. AznKushi, great ult by Morgana. Diving very far in there, picking up a lot of members, spreading out the opposing team, and there is the GG surrender. So both teams a game apiece right now. Yeah. Purple team taking the first game very convincingly, and now blue team coming back with a very solid comp, taking this game, equally as convincing. Yeah,
and I think this was a learning experience for Kuniv. I know as a Rammus player myself, this is great for me to watch, and honestly, have that conversation later on, like, hey, if as a Rammus player, 1-to-1, let's talk. Let's see how we can improve your build. How can we improve your game based on the experience based on the game we just saw. And he probably knows a lot. That hey, this didn't work out for me. If he wants, if he wanted to know why, we can give him some advice and feedback.
And I think it was a very good point that you point out that you can get away with a regrowth pendant in the jungle, and he built Philistone anyways. I mean, by the time he went boots. He had armor, and then he went boots, and then he went Philistone, and the armor was just kind of there.
Right, exactly. The standard build, the one I use that I actually took from Odd One, from Mastery's 0.27.3, just go as tanky as possible. You start with a regrowth pendant, and you go armor quints and armor yellows. So you're super tanky. You can go with that early regrowth pendant. You can rush that right into a Philistone and boots on your first trip back. You're still going to be able to get a gank attempt in. Afterwards, you go back in for another gank attempt, and then if you manage to pull anything off, you can jump right into a Heart of Gold. So grabbing those first 2 GP per 10 items early as Rammus is huge. Then you can follow that up with maybe an Oracle's or rushing into a Irelia's Reverie, and then you can just build tanky on top of tanky from there. I mean, that's my typical standard Rammus play. I think it works out really well. Again, I think Rammus is really good in solo queue because you can't trust anybody in solo queue, and a lot of people don't have that map awareness, especially, anywhere between that 1400 and 1800 range. Like, they just don't have the map awareness to account for a Rammus gank. Mainly because Rammus has been banned a bunch lately, so they're not used to playing in games with Rammus. But in a team play, you got teams that can communicate. So it looks like we're queuing up here in a lobby again for a potential Game 3. Yeah,
and it looks like we're going to pick up Format and Dexter, some other Raise Your Weapon members coming in now, a little bit late to the party. We should get them on. I think they are on.
Were they invited to this game?
Looks like that's what Kebam said, or he said that they are on, I believe. I can't see. I don't know where they are on your list.
That might be possible. If they are, they would actually be playing against the team. They'd be playing on the pseudo-Pacific Northwest team, possibly. It'd be nice if Mitchell was on. Mitchell is Boskow. Boskow plays mid for this team, and he'll be playing mid in the tournament that's coming up. So it would be great to get him over, I want to say, Dystopius?
Dystopius.
Is Dystopius? No, yeah. By the way, Dystopius, great
Shout out to him, yeah, because first game, the AP Malphite was jank, but that's because AP Malphite himself was just kind of jank. Thanks for trying to bring it out, but, thanks for putting it back away. And then, but yeah, Morgana very, very solid. Besides the Dark Binding misses, which happens. thanks for coming into the games. That's awesome to see you out here. And again, it's awesome to see all these players. So it looks like we have a Fat has joined in. Fat is a 2K player. So again, we're just going to get some more people on here for this scrim. See if we can round out these teams. Again, Matt and Dexter won't be able to make the tournament that we are practicing for. So part of this is practice for Raise Your Weapon for upcoming online tournament. And part of this is just to give more Pacific Northwest players exposure, and to let everybody in the community kind of see them, and just get them some play and experience together. Because I mean, we should get good players together and get them playing more. And this is the kind of stuff we want to see in our community. Do you want to bounce out of this game, Highwind, and then they can switch with spectator?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to get ourselves set up here for our game 3. We're going to swap a couple players out here. I want to say the overall elo got raised here, maybe.
Mix this stuff up. Again, Matt and Dexter should be on the opposing team.
So Matt and Dexter, original members of a team called Cell Gaming. They're twins. Them plus their friend Boscow started a team. I remember meeting them at our first show match.
Yes, the high risk, no reward, no cow show match, which you can actually find on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/RaiseYourWeaponMedia.
But they had a couple friends that weren't, just like everybody's got a couple friends that don't play that much. They had a couple friends that brought them to the tournament. They did okay, but those guys didn't play that often and weren't looking to play that